Hello and welcome to today's video. Today is a get ready with me where I'm going to use my Project Pan items for the most part. It's been a minute since I've gotten to use some of them because I was working on other videos. But yeah, I'm going to give you a little bit of a life update in terms of what my mental health has been like, what I've been doing with my boring life, and just kind of say hey. So if you want to hang out, I want to hear how you're doing, please let me know in the comments, and let's go ahead and get on to applying this face of makeup that you see here. Alright, as we get started, hair is back. Please don't mind the messy hair. But I'm mostly going to be talking about life updates and not doing like too much makeup talking. So I'll try to show you things as I go. But if I skip something, they're probably items in Project Pans. So the first one, I just used an eye cream to kind of hydrate. I'm going to use the Hydro Touch Primer from NYX. I'm also going to use the Smashbox just a little bit in my pore area right here. My Vitalist Healthy Elixir Foundation. Then my concealer from my Project Pan, but I have to mix it with this because it's so light. And I also am going to reach for a couple shadows for my Pan Those Eyeshadows project because in the last month I posted my spring makeup series and I was working on getting those videos finished. So I haven't really got to wear my Pan Those eyeshadow shades that much. So hopefully I get some use on them today. And I hope that it makes a difference when it comes like update time. I hope I get to roll like at least 1 or 2 shades out, even if it's like use goals only. But I haven't really gotten much like pan usage this past month. So hopefully that will get straightened out next month. Went ahead and zoomed you in just so you can see what I'm doing on my eyelids a little bit easier. But right now I'm just priming them. I use my little ABH contour palette that I've been trying to pan, as well as one of my concealers. And I just kind of have been using that as an eyeshadow base recently. Not the best base, like I definitely have had a couple days where I had a little bit of eyeshadow creasing, but at the same time I'm typically at home doing nothing, so it's not a big deal. If I'm gonna leave the house and I need my eyeshadow to last a little bit longer, I'll switch up my eye base, but you know, for the purpose of panning it, it's fine. So let's get started on the like life update part. I actually sat down last night when I was like making notes about things that I should mention in this video, and I did not even realize until last night when I sat down to prep for this video that I haven't given a life update since like early January. I could have swore that I had sat down since then and like kind of done like a real get ready with me where I gave life updates, but I haven't. I've been doing get ready with me, doing those Norse mythology videos. And so that, I guess my brain confused, like, no, you've done a get ready with me. And then I look back and I'm like, wow, so much life has like happened since I last sat down. And in that video, I was just kind of discussing like resolutions and goals for the year. And so like there has been, I mean like, there's not a lot of life because I'm not really doing much, but there has been a lot that's happened as well. And I would say that it's mostly emotional stuff that I've kind of been dealing with. Now I am going to be honest about like struggles that I've had and things like that, but I hope that as you hear me talk about these things, you understand that right now as I'm speaking about them, I'm okay. I feel like I'm dealing with them well, but I am going to be really honest with you and just tell you what I've been dealing with. I think if you've watched some of these Get Ready With Me's in the past, you probably are a little bit aware of my situation. But we've basically been in Sweden for about 3 years now. And when we came here, I kind of like mentally was okay. I was like, okay, I can do 2 years. 3 years, it was pushing it a little bit, even though it was pretty clear after the first year that it was going to be a little bit longer of a project for Bo than we anticipated. And so in my head all last year, especially once like summer hit and I was done with the school year and like work for a little bit, I kind of thought to myself, okay, maybe what I need to do is just make it until, I just need to make it until like February, and we'll get a better sense of like what the job market's gonna look like. And hopefully my hopes were that we would be moving back to the US this summer or this fall. And I was really like, that was kind of what was mentally keeping me afloat, because I really miss my career. I really miss having a job that meant something to me, that I felt good about, that gave me like a sense of completion and a sense of like, I don't know, like pride. And so I kind of just thought to myself like, okay, just make it to February. We'll have a better sense. And February came and got here, and Bo and I are looking at each other like, oh man, this is a lot harder than we thought it was. We were anticipating a lot more job availability for him, because honestly our job, like when we move back, it really depends on where he can get a job at, because the kinds of jobs that he wants, they're not that, I mean, he wants a university job if possible. He wants to work in research and do some teaching. And we all know that Corona really changed the like format of school last year, and it's just, these jobs are already kind of hard and very competitive, and it just seems like right now the timing isn't in our favor. So Bo, I feel like he did what he could. He applied to some jobs. He gained some experience doing some like interviews, but nothing has panned out so far that we're really like excited about or interested in. So it looks like we're going to be here for probably another year and a half, maybe until fall of next year. Hopefully that'll give the job market some time to kind of recover after COVID, and hopefully some of these university jobs will open up a little bit more. But right now it looks like we don't have a lot of choice other than to stay here and just continue working, and I was not mentally prepared for that at all. So February was a bit of an emotional roller coaster for me, and just kind of having to go, okay, like let me wrap my head around having to stay here one more year. Let me wrap my head around having to push my career off another year, and just kind of weighing some decisions. And it's one of those things that like, it's more complicated than I want it to be, because if on some level I'm like, okay, I could just go back to the US and I could get my career going again and just leave Bo here, and when he's done, you know, then we reunite. But at the same time, I'm well aware that we've been trying to get pregnant for over a year, which is another thing that's kind of been weighing on my mind a lot more. In April, we'll reach the 1 year mark since our first miscarriage. We had our first miscarriage on Easter weekend last year. And so that's a lot emotionally. And so there's a part of me that goes, okay, well, if I choose to go home and get my career going again, get my job back, that kind of thing, then, I mean, we're already struggling to have kids. You're not gonna be able to get pregnant like with me over here, or me over there and Bo over here. Like, so I feel like I have to choose at this point. And so right now where I'm sitting at, I'm like, okay, I'm not getting any younger. They say that, what am I trying to say? That it's a little harder to get pregnant once you get to your mid 30s, which I'm almost there, I'm 33. So part of me is like, okay, well, I'll just stay here. We'll focus, keep trying to get pregnant. We had 2 miscarriages last year, so that's emotionally weighing on me, just because I feel like I'm trying to do a lot of work mentally to like, I guess it's like not be too hard on myself is the way to put it, because like you want to trust your body, but after something like that, sometimes it gets a little bit hard and I get a little bit negative. So I have been doing some things for that. I've been trying to work on some compassion training and trying to better my self-compassion. All right, I've zoomed the camera out so that I can continue my face makeup. I'm putting on my Hydro Touch primer and that kind of stuff. But yeah, I think also what I was saying is that part of me knows that February is going to be really, really hard, considering that it will be a year of more than a year of trying, but a year since our last miscarriage. And it just, I can feel it. I can already feel it coming on. Like I can feel waves of grief. Grief is a funny thing. It comes and it goes, and you think you got a handle on it, and then all of a sudden you see a baby and you start crying. So the plan I formulated to deal with that is that I'm gonna try to keep myself busy, but I'm gonna give myself something else. Like normally I enjoy trying to do more stuff for YouTube, or like try to get creative and just try to like keep myself busy. But this time around, I have been avoiding doing certain things for my career back in the States, because it's emotionally hard. Like I miss that career so much that a lot of times if I were to try to do certain trainings and things, I just get kind of down in the dumps of like, why did I do this? Why am I here? So instead of like, I feel like and I feel good about this part. I feel like I'm in a slightly better headspace, and I feel a little bit stronger now that I'm like, you know what, I signed up for a virtual conference that's going to be like 2 months long during April and part of May. And I'm going to try to kind of just focus on doing some continuing education. I'm going to try to enjoy the conference and just spend time doing things that make me feel like, you know what, I will go back to that career one day. So I'm actually kind of excited about that. I am a little bit nervous about how to balance YouTube and that. I'm not quite sure how much like time that conference will eat up. I really won't know until we get into it and I see what's all available and what all, like how many hours of continuing education I can get and how many speakers I can watch. And luckily it's gonna be like, I think it's streamable, but also they'll have downloaded sessions like once it's over. So perhaps I can kind of work my schedule to where I can kind of still film in the daytime, because this light is great. Speaking of which, a little off topic, today the sun is out. Like usually when the sun comes out, it gets colder here. And today the sun is out, but it's also over 50 degrees outside in Fahrenheit. So I'm super excited. I'm actually gonna like probably like go walk and then come back and try to edit some videos and just handle some comments and do some, I'm so behind on Partners in Cream videos. I just caught up on Instagram and now I gotta go do all of the YouTube videos and comments. So I gotta make some time to actually enjoy the sun today, but still get some other things done too. Make sure this is blended out a little bit. I feel like it looks fine. I went a little lighter with bronzer today. Now let's see what else has been new with me. Make sure in the comments you let me know what's new with y'all, because it's been several months since we've actually kind of caught up. I know for Bo and myself in February for Lent, we decided that we were gonna get off social media just because I caught myself, like, I don't know if you're familiar with, like, a lot of people do this, but you might do this too. I get on Facebook and I doom scroll until I see something or find a post that like gets under my skin a little bit, and then I find myself like, after a while, I think I start to realize that like I start kind of looking for those posts because there are so many of them that you come to expect them. So then when you get on, you just go until you find one. And I'm like, I just don't want that. It felt like Facebook got very negative for me recently. So we kind of decided to log off, and instead we've been doing a really fun little movie experiment that we really enjoyed. And it actually just started because once I did that Norse mythology video, the first one, you know, it's been so long since I watched Thor Ragnarok, and I was just talking about it a little bit in the video that I talked Bo into watching Thor Ragnarok again with me. And then we were like, oh yeah, Anthony Hopkins is Thor's dad. And so we were like, you know what would be fun if we kind of just started going down like a little streamline of videos where we pick someone in the cast of that movie. So like, for example, seeing an Anthony Hopkins movie, so then we went and found one of his movies, and then we picked another actor or actress from that movie and went and saw their movie, and like we just kind of kept going, and it has been so much fun to do that. I've really enjoyed it, and I've had so much fun like not being in a negative mind space or like mindset from like seeing things on social media. I realized like I logged on one day to wish my parents a happy anniversary. There was their 50th anniversary, and I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna look really quick, make sure my thing is posted, and I happened to see like the next post that day was like something toxic again, and I was just like, good grief, like I don't want to be on Facebook right now. And there's a big part of me that's like, I've been so much happier not doing the doom scrolling thing and getting to do some other little projects, like either the movie thing, or I've been reading a little bit more, been having more time to read. I didn't realize how much time was getting soaked up on Facebook doing nothing. So there's a large part of me that's like, I might not go back to Facebook at all. Like, well, I don't think I'll like disable it, but I just don't think that it'll be important for me to like get on there and check it much. So I don't know, I've really been enjoying it, and I really don't feel like I miss it much. In fact, I might consider getting rid of it if I weren't over here and if I had better access to friends. I would probably already just convince myself to turn it off. Okay, back to some makeup. I just set my more wrinklage prone areas with the Ciate loose setting powder. I think loose setting powders for me work a little bit better, but then now I'm gonna go all over my face and just do a little light dusting of the Rimmel Stay Matte powder. And then I have my Lorac bronzer from my project pan, which if you hadn't seen my last update, you should go see it because there's really good pan in it. You need to go check that out. And then I'm gonna apply my Corella highlight mixed with Mary Lou and my blush here. So let's see, I kind of gave like a big mental health update, which is that things have been a little bit of an emotional roller coaster, but I feel like I'm appropriately handling them. I felt appropriately sad, and then have kind of pivoted and formed some plans, and luckily have really good friends who check in on me. And then let's see, I'll let you know that I've been socially distant on social media and then except for YouTube, but YouTube is totally different. YouTube for me is definitely not negative at all. It's like one of the most uplifting like areas of my life. Like honestly, if I didn't have YouTube, I don't know what I would be doing right now. I'd probably have officially like gone crazy a long time ago. But yeah, other than that, I'm really just looking forward to warmer weather. The fact that it's gotten above 50 today gives me hopes that maybe spring really is around the corner. We got like warm weather. It was at like 2.5 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago maybe. Like it got, and by warmer weather I mean it got into the 40s, and I was like, oh yeah, the snow finally melted. And then all of a sudden the snow came back for like a week, and then now the snow is gone again, which is very exciting. But of course, I don't really anticipate it being a very eventful spring or summer because of COVID. And the vaccine rollout here is a little bit slow. Like, so far we've seen the like Swedish healthcare website kind of update that, oh, we should hear about our age group and vaccines by this point, and then we'll go back and look at the website and they'll push the date back, and then they'll push the date back or take the date off. So we're just kind of like a waiting game of like when we might be able to get vaccines here. Also, Bo and I are kind of like, at some point we might decide to just go home during the summer some point. And if we end up doing that, it might just be in our interest depending on how long we're there, because we'll probably be there for about a month if we go. But if we end up going home, we might end up like considering trying to get a vaccine while we're home. I'm not quite sure. We're talking much later, but I guess maybe something that we're considering is like probably June-ish. So that's like, you know, right at the height of like what summer is here, or at least here. But we'll see. There's so much that could like get in the way between now and then. I wish things were already moved to the point where I'm like, I want to go to Greece so bad. I don't know about y'all. I'm sure everybody else is like busting at the seams like I am to like go on vacation. Where would you go right now? If you can go on your dream vacation, where would your dream vacation be? Because for me, it would certainly be Greece. Bo and I decided that we were going to save Greece for our 10-year anniversary, which of course our 10-year anniversary happened last year in 2020. So we definitely did not get to go to Greece for our 10-year wedding anniversary, but like that's like on my bucket list. It's like probably number one place I wanted to visit while we've been living in Europe, and we were saving it. And now I look back and I'm like, why did we do that? Why didn't we just go to Greece immediately when we got here? I was actually gonna put on my Cruella highlight, but I kind of just like the way it looks right now, very neutral. So I think what I'll do is go ahead and throw on blush over the top of this instead of like adding more highlight. I feel like it looks pretty good. So also, as I'm filming this, I realize I'm topic hopping pretty bad right now. I made notes for myself, but I went way out of order, like, so sorry. But as I'm filming this, I feel like other than watching March Madness right now, I am so out of the loop because I have not been on social media. Like I think what I used to do with Facebook is I didn't use it as a news source. I'm not one of those people that used it as a news source, but I would definitely see something, be like, what? Go look for it in the news. And now I like somehow am reading less news. I normally get my US news just like from like Google Newsfeed, and I have not been, I think like by proxy of not being on Facebook, I have also not just been on my phone that much. So it's really interesting to see how much Facebook made me reach for my phone in general. But I need to get back to reading some US news because I am so behind. I don't know, like, I feel like if Bo doesn't come home and tell me something that happened, I'm like completely lost. And I don't like feeling that disconnected because I very much like, I don't want to feel more mentally isolated too. So I do need to get back to reading some news. All right, I just curled my lashes and I'm gonna put on mascara. I recently opened up my little Milk mascara. This was the birthday gift from Sephora last year, and I kind of like it. I don't know if it's worth the full price. Like, I don't think I would buy it full price. But for layering with this CoverGirl volume one, I kind of like these two together. Sometimes I'll put this one on first and then put the CoverGirl on, and then sometimes I'll put CoverGirl on and this one on. Now, if I do that, it gets a little clumpy. I have to be a little bit more careful about like how clumpy it can get because this one will build up really fast on top of the CoverGirl. But they're a nice combination. I kind of like them. I feel like I have a love-hate relationship with this CoverGirl wand. Like, I really like these plastic wands. I feel like I need the lift because my lashes do not curl at all. They like stick straight out. But at the same time, I easily also like poke the heck out of my eye with this wand. So it's like, it's necessary, but at the same time, often painful. I think that looks pretty good. I actually kind of dig the halo eye kind of effect today. And I'm gonna put on Duxlam Dolly Danger, and then my new project pan. I think I put this in my Drop 10 Before Summer project pan. This is the ColourPop Lippy Stick in Skimpy. So I'm gonna put this on and we'll be done. I also cannot talk through this process very well. All right, I just kind of popped the ColourPop shade in the center, but hopefully you can see what I was talking about in the video when I introduced it. It's a little milky. So what I had to do to like make it work is kind of just blend it out and tap it out with my finger. And then I feel like it looks a little less milky. But yeah, it's such an interesting shade. And actually I used it yesterday as a blush and kind of liked it. I should have done it today. Honestly, I forgot to use some of the products that I showed you. I forgot to use this one. I was gonna use this as a blush, forgot to use that one. Didn't end up using my Cruella one, which also, Bo knocked off my Cruella highlight while we were spring cleaning the other day, and I had to repress it. I don't think I did a good job. It feels a little bit too crumbly. If you have any tips for repressing these kind of ColourPop highlights, let me know, because I feel like I'm gonna need to redo it again. I was devastated, but at least I was able to like save it. But my goal was to be able to hit side pan, and now I'm like, should I make my goal to re-hit pan, or should I just make my goal to use it so many times? It's kind of a pain in the butt. Like, it's kind of crumbly, so I don't know if hitting pan on it will be fair. But yeah, if you know how to repress this, let me know in the comments. But yeah, this is the finished look. I am gonna go hang out outside for a little bit. I'm pretty excited. Maybe I'll go on a nice long walk. Maybe I'll go bug Bo at work really quick. But yeah, please make sure you let me know in the comments how you're doing, what's new in your life, say hello, and I will see you in the next one.